Hi Novak, congratulations.
Thank you.
Um, I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about the kind of nerves you were feeling today going for this kind of big record. There were three double faults in the first two games, a few kind of quite slow by your standards second serves in the first two sets. It felt like you were quite tense and nervous. Was that the case? Did you kind of feel the weight of expectation on you today?
Yeah, I definitely have felt slightly more nervous than I would usually feel at the beginning of today's match, particularly the first set. I think after the first set was done, I just felt a relief, obviously, it was not great that I lost the first set, but on the other hand, I just felt like I just wanted to get this first set over with, so I could just start to swing through the ball and play where I want to play. So that started to happen already in the first four games of the second set, 4-love up very quickly. And I knew that at that moment the momentum shifted and I just felt more comfortable. Obviously, there were some close games in the third set. I was break up. He had some break point chances to come back. But other than that, I felt that I was in control of the match from the beginning of the second set. And, he has a lot of firepower, serve and forehand. Obviously, playing on grass against a big server like Berrettini is always a big challenge. And I knew that I'm going to have a big obstacle trying to get returns back in play. And once I'm in the rally, I felt like most of the times I will probably have a better chance to win a baseline exchange, which was the case. In some moments I played too defensive, I would say. Probably, yeah, as you said, for my standard, a bit slower second serves, but it's probably due to the nerves and big occasion of finals of Wimbledon and, history on the line.
Howard Fendrich.
Hi Novak, Howard Fendrich with AP. You just mentioned history on the line. Of everything that you've done so far and all the things still out there to accomplish as you move forward, what would you say you're proudest of? And also, you mentioned, of course, this rivalry you've had with Roger and Rafa and how they helped you improve. I'm wondering, what would you say is the area in which you've improved the most and has been the most important way in which you've become a better player in the last decade?
All the areas, Howard. To be honest, I felt like, from 15 years ago to today, the journey that I've been through has been very rewarding for every segment of my game. And also my mental strength, the experience, understanding of how to cope with the pressure in the big moments, how to be a clutch player when it matters the most. That's probably, if I have to pick one, that's the one, that I would point out as the highlight of my, so to say, improvement of my assets that I have in the last 15 years on the tour. The just ability to cope with pressure, and the more you play the big matches, the more experience you have. The more you believe in yourself, the more you win, the more confident you are. So it's all connected, and obviously it's all coming together. I feel like in the last couple of years for me, age is just a number. I said that before. I don't feel that I'm old or anything like that. Obviously, things are a bit different and you have to adjust and adapt to your, so to say, phases that you go through your career. But I feel that I'm probably the most complete that I've been as a player right now in my entire career.
Rob Moore.
Novak, congratulations. Do you consider yourself the greatest male tennis player of the Open era? And the second question, do you think one of you three will actually break Margaret Court's record of 24 singles slam at some stage?
Well, I consider myself best, and I believe that I am the best. Otherwise, I wouldn't be talking confidently about, winning slams and making history. But whether I'm the greatest of all time or not, I leave that debate to other people. I said before that it's very difficult to compare the eras of tennis. We have different rackets, technology, balls, courts. It's just completely different conditions that we're playing in. So it's very hard to compare tennis, say, from 50 years ago to today. But I am extremely honored to definitely be part of the conversation.
Eleanor.
Hi Novak, Eleanor Crookston, PA. Congratulations. Was there a moment when you realised that Roger's record was in reach, or was it a gradual thing?
I probably started thinking about, trying to reach the record of most Grand Slams won and most weeks at number one historically, probably about, say 2 to 3 years ago. Before that, it seemed a little bit out of reach, but I've always kind of believed that I could play my best tennis on Grand Slams and give myself a good chance to win any slam really on any surface, because I know what I'm capable of. I know that I have a very complete game that has proven to be successful on all surfaces in the past, but only the last 2.5, 3 years I started to realize that actually I can reach the weeks of number one, which was my primary goal actually in the last 2 years, and also Grand Slams. And it's really fortunate for me, and it's incredible that it's all coming together in the same year. That's something that I didn't expect, but I always dream of achieving the biggest things in sport.
Mike Dixon.
Hi Novak, you're obviously not just on course for the Calder Grand Slam, but potentially, I guess, for the Golden Slam. I'm just wondering what your sort of latest thinking is about that and the Olympics, where there don't appear to be any spectators going to be allowed.
Yeah, that's not a great news. I received that news was yesterday or 2 days ago, and that was really disappointing to hear. And I also hear that there's going to be a lot of restrictions within the village, and possibly you would not be able to see other athletes perform live. I can't even have my stringer that is very important part of my team. I can't have a stringer, or I'm limited with the amount of people that I can take in my team as well. So I'll have to think about it. Right now, as I said, my plan was always to go to Olympic Games, but right now I'm a little bit divided. It's kind of 50-50 because of what I heard in the last couple of days.
Chris Clary.
Novak, hi. Chris Clary, New York Times.
Hi, Chris.
I'm curious, when you're playing a match like that and you're going through the pressure moments, do you think at all about the history aspect? Or are you thoroughly in the moment? And what is your thought process like in those critical points?
Well, I think it's a constant battle on the court to stay present and stay in the now, so to say, because oftentimes you are experiencing emotions that and thoughts that would take you in the past, or regret maybe for not playing certain ball or certain point the way you wanted to play, that you could have played, or the anticipation for the future, what's going to happen. So it's really a constant work of trying to bring those thoughts into the present moment, and I feel like that's the biggest work that I probably any athlete, particularly individual athletes, because when you are present, when you are experiencing and seeing things in a very simple way, it's a tennis match, it's only the next point, you're there, then you're able to perform your best. I feel like if you're constantly divided between past and future, it's difficult to keep the quality of tennis that you really want, and that's usually when players get tense and fold under pressure. And it happens to me, of course. I mean, I've been very fortunate to be so strong in the decisive moments of the biggest tournaments throughout my career, but I also lost quite a bit of finals of Grand Slams where I felt like I was close to winning, but then, I folded. So it's as Michael Jordan used to say, I failed, and that's why I succeeded in the end. So it's really a learning process, a learning curve, and the more you practice that and the more you experience that on the court, particularly in the biggest courts in our sport, the more comfortable I feel like you become, and the more familiar you are with yourself, and then you see what kind of patterns you have emotionally. What are the moments when you are maybe feeling a bit more nervous? What are the moments when you're a bit more courageous or free? And I think most of people see what we are going through on the court, but actually it's the before the match and the preparations and everything that you have to deal with internally that is affecting greatly the way you approach the match and the way you're playing at the match. So I did feel before the semis and also finals today slightly different emotion in terms of expectations and the tension build up than I have maybe in the past, because of, as I said, history on the line. I'm aware of it, even though I was trying not to think about it too much and just trying to approach this match as any other match. But it's sometimes the things are so big off the court that it's hard to avoid them in a way. But you learn how to deal with them. You learn how to accept the circumstances that you're going through and try to, transmutate, so to say, transform that into the fuel that you need on the court.